Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to recap group stage for NA Open 1 finished not too long ago. And so we're going to run through what happened. We're going to run through all the action. Over here on the right, we got my picks, which were less than great. Less than good even. My picks were terrible, horrible, terrible. You pick a word. It was that. As long as it's a negative word. My picks were not good today. I thought I had it sniffed out. I did not. My nose is broken. I don't know what to do. I'm in shambles. But my picks, compared to what actually happened, I did call this first series of the day right. Felt great. That's a great way to start the day off. You know, I go, out of the first round, I go 3 for 4. NRG, take care of Gen G. Space Station ruined my day over and over again. Space Station beat Strictly Business, which again is that import team of EXO and hold please while I look at it. Who am I looking for? Strictly Business. I might there they are. Crispy, EXO, and Samas, and I had them sweeping SSG. I didn't think that the Snowman roster last year, after talking to Stavi, he mentioned that they had great momentum going into the end of the last split at the end of the year last year. And I just didn't, I don't know. I doubted this team, and there seems to be at least one team in each region that I just doubt, and then they prove me wrong. In NA, there's multiple, and that doesn't make me feel good, but SSG, you know, the NA team, they take care of some business, and they take care of Strictly Business, and they drop Strictly Business down to the losers. Omelet versus Gas, I did call that series. It didn't need 5 games. Omelet got it done in 3, and then I thought Worsland would at least get a game off Deleted, and then Deleted said, how about no, and swept them into the losers. So our losers bracket matchups, I had Gen G 3-0ing Space Station. Turns out they 3-0'd Strictly Business, which, if you look over here, that's not great for me. I had them qualifying for top 8, and they did not do that. So there is also one of the rewards for qualifying, making top 8, is you actually automatically get put into the Swiss stage for the next Open. So all of our top 8 teams, they don't have to go through play-ins. They're just, they auto-qualify for the next Open Swiss stage. But Gen G, take care of Strictly Business, and then I had Gas 3-0ing. Turns out I can't read. Worselstan? Almost got it done. Gas almost got double rounded and kicked out of the Swiss stage, but they held on. They showed some perseverance. You know, they're veterans. They've been here before, and they take care of business. And then we have, after this first, we move into the upper semis. I had NRG taking care of business against Strictly Business in that round. Turns out Space Station took care of business, and Space Station get their 2 wins real quick, and then they qualify for top 8. And then we had Omelet versus Deleted. I thought Omelet was going to qualify through uppers. Turns out they didn't qualify at all. So that's great for me. Deleted 3-0s them and makes it to the upper bracket final, where Space Station and Deleted meet, just competing for who's the 1 seed, who's the 2 seed going into the playoff stage. And it did take all 5 games. Space Station beats Deleted 3-2. So Space Station is our Group A 1 seed. Deleted is our A2 seed. And then we drop down here to the lower semis, where I had Gen G winning their matchup. I thought they were going to play Deleted. Turns out they played Omelet. And then NRG versus Gas. I did have Gas in this matchup. I thought NRG was going to qualify all the way through uppers. Turns out Garrett, who is a co-owner of NRG, loses to his roster, which, if you're Garrett G, you're saying thank you. That would look horrible had Garrett G beat his roster out of the entire event. That would have been a real bad look. So thankfully for Garrett, for NRG, they do 3-0. Again, this Space Station roster surprised me so much today. But Gen G, NRG, they qualify for top 8, and NRG beats Gen G how like I thought they would, but it does go to lowers, and so we have NRG as our A3 and Gen G as our A4. And so our Space Station and Deleted will start in the upper quarterfinals already, and so good for them. Now, if we move over to Group B, we have here's the bracket of what actually happened, and here were my picks. Group B was a mess. Group B was not a good group for me in the slightest. I don't like this group. I said that there were multiple teams that I underestimated coming into this. Why did I not believe in Complexity whatsoever? I wish I knew. Complexity showed up and they stomped almost everyone. So, yeah, not a good look for me. Complexity is kind of like, I guess they're the 100% of NA. I had no faith in that team, and then they waltzed their way through qualification. So, sad days for me. But Ultimates taking on Tech. Ultimates is that roster of First Killer, Chronic, and LJ. And Tech is our Talk Tua roster of Calm, Evo, and Talk. And I had Ultimates taking care of that series. They do. Pirates on a Boat and Rebellion. I thought Shopify was going to take care of this. But in games 4 and games 5, Shopify fell apart. I don't know what happened. Shopify looked so good. And then games 4 and 5, they just completely fell apart. In game 5 especially, Pirates on a Boat were up by 1 goal with under, I want to say it was under 30 seconds left. Shopify has a chance. They have a player coming off the back wall. I think it was 2-piece off the back wall. He could have left it. If he had just left it alone, he had a teammate ready to slam the ball into the goal. Now, there was a goalie there. I think it could have gotten saved, but to try to throw off the timing of the goalie, 2-piece off the back wall, held his flip, back flipped, and his teammate misses, the goalie misses, and because Rebellion didn't want 2 members double committing for that ball, nobody was there to finish it, and Pirates on a Boat are able to push the ball away, kill time, game ends, Pirates on a Boat win. So Shopify had very good looks at the goal, and they just could not finish that game to save their life. And Complexity, the bane of my existence today. I had Almost Nuts. Don't know why I had so much confidence in this team. Maybe it was because I was kind of rooting against imports this entire time. But Almost Nuts really let me down. But that's just kind of how it goes. I had them at least picking up 1 win on the day. Almost Nuts gets double rounded, so not ideal. Complexity beat Almost Nuts 3-1. And then this final game of the upper quarters, we have 9 Lives, which is the roster of Chicago, Hoxer, and Kofer, versus Team Evo, which is an import team, a CRL team, and it's Speed, Relating Wave, and Arju. And thankfully, they didn't qualify through uppers, but we did have an EU team and a SAM team qualify for top 8 in NA, so that's not a great look for our region, but that's kind of that's just how it works out. So there's our first round matchups, and I thought Pirates on a Boat were going to drop out down here. I did have Tech getting double rounded, which did happen, so I feel okay about that. The thing is, I had Complexity getting double rounded, and then they qualify as the 1 seed, so I don't know ball. But Team Evo beat Almost Nuts down here, and Almost Nuts gets double rounded. Team Evo advances. Up in our upper semis, we got Ultimates. I had them taking on Rebellion. They took on Pirates on a Boat. Doesn't matter. I did get the series score right. I just got the team that they beat wrong. And then I had 9 Lives sweeping Almost Nuts. Almost Nuts didn't even make it. Complexity 3-1s that roster and move on. So Ultimates and Complexity are guaranteed upper quarterfinals in the playoff stage, and Complexity beat Ultimates 3-1 to take the 1 seed. Now, back in our lower semis, 9 Lives, I didn't have them qualifying, but I'm not upset that they did. I do like Chicago, and I like Hoxer, so I'm glad to see that they did qualify. I hate that Rebellion didn't qualify. Again, I had both those teams qualifying, and neither of them did. So that is unfortunate. Now, Team Evo, I didn't have them qualifying, but they ended up playing Pirates on a Boat down here in our second lower semifinals matchup, and they take care of business. They sweep Pirates on a Boat out of the regional and qualify for top 8. And then in our lower bracket final, 9 Lives takes care of Team Evo 3-1, locks up that 3 seed, and those are our final 2 teams into our lower bracket semifinals, or our lower bracket round 1 for the playoff stage. And if we go here now, this is what happened. My bracket, not ideal. I got 2 teams correct in Group B, and I believe I had 2 teams correct in Group A. So I went 4 for 8. 50% is not ideal when trying to guess a playoff. So my guesses were not exactly on point, but here is this. We are going to, hold please. We're going to delete that. So here is our playoff picture. This is what it looks like. You can see the standings over here, where everybody got their finish. And now we're going to try to predict these matchups going forward into the playoff. If NRG lose to Evo, NRG is supposed to be that team. They're supposed to be NA's hope. If we lose to an import CRL team as a region, I'm not, like, I don't know what to do. My faith in the region as a whole is just gone. I don't want it to be gone. So please, fingers crossed, NRG is going to. Do I think that team can take a game? Based on how NRG look, they don't look as crisp as they did last year. I don't know what it is. I think Team Evo have a chance. I said 3. These are best of 7s. I do think that Evo can take a game. I don't think that they're going to get 2. I think NRG do walk away with this one, and I'm going to call it 4-1. Now, 9 Lives and Gen G, I have to go with Gen G. I think that they looked a whole lot better. Their run through the playoff was pretty difficult. I mean, they ran into NRG twice, so right off the bat, not ideal. Strictly Business, who is a team that I thought would qualify, they 3-0 them, then they 3-2 Omelet, another team I thought would qualify. So I know Gen G are capable of performing well. And this 9 Lives team, they beat Evo. They beat Rebellion, which Rebellion is a team that I thought would qualify. And then they beat Evo again. So they beat the same team twice to get in. It was the exact same score line. If it comes down to it, I'm going to pick Gen G. And do I think that they could sweep? I do. Do I think that they will sweep? I don't. I think it's going to be a 4-1. So 9 Lives and Team Evo are going to round out 7th and 8th place, get 3 points for the split. And then we go up to our upper quarters. Space Station versus Ultimates. Space Station has blown away all expectations. I did not expect for them to perform the way that they did. As you could see by my predictions, this is what actually happened. I didn't even have them qualifying. And then they did, as the 1 seed. So that kind of seems to be the trend. I don't have Space Station qualify. They go through as the 1 seed. I don't have Complexity qualify. They go through as the 1 seed. So if I had to pick a winner between Space Station and Ultimates, if Space Station play the way that they did today, they could easily take this game. But do I think that they're going to play to that level? I just think the Ultimates roster seem, on paper, they're a stronger roster. First Killer, LJ, and Chronic versus Frosty, Scribbles, and Reveal. Both are extremely talented, but on paper, I have Ultimates being a better team. I do think that Space Station, though, can take a couple games off of them, but not force a Game 7. And then if we look at Complexity versus Deleted, both of these teams, all expectations were thrown out the window. I thought I knew what I was talking about, or at least had some idea. Turns out I don't. So that's kind of how that works. But after today, Complexity, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, Complexity, I have them winning that series. How many games do I think it'll take? Deleted the roster of Andy, Gyro, and Wavy. They looked very, very good today. They sweep, and then forced a game 5 against Space Station. So I think, but when it comes to this Complexity roster, I do think that they are probably a step above that SSG roster. So I'll give Deleted 1 game out of that. So our lower quarters, according to my predictions, we get Space Station NRG again. And the first time they met in this upper bracket, Space Station took it 3-1. So now we're in single elim territory. NRG versus Space Station. I'm going to come back to that. We have Gen.G and Deleted, who never got to run into one another. But I would think that Gen.G would take this. I do think that that series has the potential to go 7. But if I had to pick, I'm going to say it goes 6. And then this NRG Space Station series is going to be tough. NRG looks so wishy-washy. Space Station looks so strong today. And I'm actually going to surprise myself. And I'm going to say Space Station. But I do think that it's going to take all 7 to get it done. And now, Complexity versus Space Station. I'm coming back to that. I'm going to need just a little bit of time to think through that one. Ultimates versus Gen.G. First Killer, Chronic, LJ. Versus Reddles, Magic Bear, and Cheese. This is going... I think that this right here is going to be fantastic. I think this goes 7. Just who takes game 7? Man. If I had, as of right now, who takes game 7? Who finishes 3rd or 4th? I think game 7 goes to Gen.G. I think Gen.G are an extremely solid roster. They're established. Now, Ultimates has experience. Obviously, all their players are high-quality players, or else I wouldn't have them in the top 4. But I think that when it comes down to it, Gen.G can pull that out. Now, Complexity versus Space Station. Complexity are a terrifying roster. I just don't want an import team to win our first regional. So I'm kind of picking with my heart here more than my head, and that got me in a lot of trouble yesterday. So we're going to do it again. Space Station, after doubting you multiple times, I'm now going to have faith in you. Do I think you get it done in less than 7 versus this Complexity roster? I don't think you do. I think we get 2 banger semifinals, but Space Station pulls it out. And now, Gen.G versus Space Station. Give me... This is going to be tough. I think this is going to be a battle. It's going to be a grueler. But I'm going to give it to Gen.G. Even though Space Station have had an incredible run, I think Gen.G, if this bracket holds, they're coming all the way from lower round 1, so they have been on a run. Their series are slowly getting longer and longer, while Space Station have had almost the longest day they could possibly have, if this bracket is true. I just think... I just think coming off... Both of them coming off game 7 wins and immediately having to turn around and play. I think Gen.G's experience of playing in those higher pressure situations, like this Gen.G roster represented, they were Team USA at the FIFA E World Cup. I do think that this is where like the pressure can start setting in, and the fatigue from playing these long matches. And I think that Space Station will fall in 6. I'll say Gen.G take it 4-2. And Gen.G win our first NA regional. And this, how confident am I in this? Let's not ask questions. Let's just say Gen G win it all. And I think that's what I'm going to go with. This is I'm going to look it over one more time just to make sure that I like what I'm seeing. And NRG Evo, yes. Gen G 9 Lives, yes. Space Station Ultimates, yes. Complexity deleted, yes. Gen G deleted, yes. Space Station NRG. That's going to be where my hiccup is. That's where I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm picking... Part of me feels like I'm picking the wrong way. But part of me also feels like if this NRG roster went against Complexity, they lose. So I'm going to... I think I'm going to stick. I think this is it. Gen G, I have them as winning NA Open 1 for the Birmingham Major. And I believe that that is it for me today. I think this is it. This is my list. If you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know why. I myself don't even know if I agree with me fully, but we're here now. So until next week when EU starts back, I'll have little content videos of me gaming and stuff coming out throughout the week. But for these predictions, until next week when EU kicks back off, just know that the world's better with you in it. I'm thankful that you're here, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.